Hey, my name's Genia Rowe. I'm doing a video on organic foods for my biology. Um, I'm here with three local um, people who are involved in the organic food movement. Their names are Pamela, Jeff, and Terry. Organic food is basically food that has been grown without any commercial pesticides and with natural products so that you don't get the pesticides in the food so that whenever you ingest it you don't get the pesticides in your body, and that's about that's about the definition of organic food. So I'm going to introduce you to Pamela, and she's going to tell you some more about the organic movement, why she's involved, and how long she's been involved.
Hello, my name is Pamela Savage. I've worked locally here in Lakeland and Winter Haven, Florida, in the health food industry, and I was delighted to do this just to chat a bit. One of the questions that Gina would like to know is how long have the three of us been involved in this movement? Actually, I started it about 20 years ago. I have a 33-year-old daughter, and I became ill, and she helped me. So we investigated good foods, healthy foods, supplementation, things like that. The illness was fibromyalgia, and I've had tremendous results with modifying my diet. Following Doug Kaufman, many of you may know him from television and seminars, and he is the pioneer, so to speak, in America for the mycotoxin fungal relation to illness. And so I derived a great amount of help from him. If anybody's interested in that, they might look at novacause.com. It's a great resource. And I guess we're going to move it over here. Stage left.
Okay, I'm going to introduce Jeff now and let him tell you how long he's been in it and why he became involved in the organic food. He also owns the Bean and Grape cafe here in Winter Haven, which does serve some organic foods.
I'm Jeff Latimer. I'm the owner of the Bean and Grape Cafe in Winter Haven, Florida. And I really didn't know it was a movement that I was getting involved in. It just felt like the right thing to do to change what I was putting in my body. And having had some health issues in the past, I started to do some research, and I had some family members that had some health issues, and so I was looking into, what the diet, what role it really played in our physiology. And as a result of changing my diet and changing uh, the composition of the foods, I saw several benefits from it. And so I've been in it about 5 years now, and I would love to have my cafe be 100% organic. However, being in this small town, it's still hard to find the products, and so bit by bit we are adding it in. We have some organic wines, and we have organic coffees, and wherever possible we use organic foods to make the products we sell here.
The, the next person that we're going to introduce is Terry, and she's also involved in the organic movement.
Hi, I'm Terry Kowalski, and I'm a resident, or excuse me, I was a resident of Lakeland, but I've moved out to Orlando since then. And actually, the reason I moved to Orlando was I found, and I do find, that there are more places to buy organic, to have resources for that locally, as opposed to the area that I was living in. They have restaurants that serve organic. They have a lot of movements out there. They have the slow food movement. They have farm to table. They have farmers and growers connected with local restaurants serving the food. So there's definitely more of a resource out there. Being in this area, I found that it was very limited. And and I've been involved for about 10 years. I've been um, probably involved because of my own health and wanting to maintain my health. Because I look at me being the one empowered to do that. I don't rely on others for my health. And so it's up to me to make sure I feed my body well so that I can do that. And one way to do that is to keep as many chemicals out of my body that I can. And that would be with organics, at least one of the choices that I make. And it's just very limited in here. And so, um, you know, I'm glad that I see this in Winter Haven, you know. I'm hoping that it spreads even more and then Jeff can have more food to serve in his restaurant.
It's a start.
It's a start, yes.
And to me, honestly, the organics taste better.
They do.
Uh, the organic eggs over these white things you find in there, you know, the shells are harder and the taste is much better.
And then Pam, you're a lot into the health and the effects it has on the body. Would you like to explain maybe a little bit more of what you see as far as chemicals versus natural?
Right. Well, being
I
in
didn't
the
know
health
about your
food.
history.
Well, you know, I guess I'll start with just having worked in the health food store. Is that on a daily basis we find folks coming in with health issues that either they've been on their prescriptions or they're frustrated, things just aren't working, and or they're having some pretty severe side effects. And so they come in and they want to know, you know, what can we do? And of course, we're always reading. I'm just a certified natural product specialist, but I'm always looking, always reading. And thank God for the internet because we refer to it, Terry and I, quite a bit throughout the day. Um, but where were we? We were back to
Just health in general.
what happened to
Yeah.
me? Okay, well, because of my illness, it helped me so much. And being on good organic foods whenever possible, in certain foods, avoiding peanuts, peanut butter, cornmeal, those were majors for me. Um, Sometimes people are sensitive to milk and milk products, so uh, you know, there are alternatives like almond milk, delicious almond milk, comes in practically every grocery store. Um, and somebody's getting a phone call. And the financial impact was something that we were going to talk about. And would you like to tell us a little bit about how that affects a vendor in the community?
Well, I mean, just the products are more expensive. Um, since we are in a small town, and really, you could almost say that organic products are scarce here, so it makes it very difficult to source them. And when you do find them, you know, for example, the eggs, you know, you buy $1.99 for a dozen of regular eggs or $3.99 for the organic eggs. But we choose to go with the organics for the taste and for the health reasons. And it's still being new here in a small town. Finding people that want to pay that additional price for the organics, you know, they're just not there yet. So you end up with virtually a smaller profit in the products that you make. Maybe at some point, you know, there will be more people that are interested in finding those products, those healthy options, and you know, like with anything else, you know, the greater the demand and the more the supply, you know, will bring the prices down. But you know, what you see going up on Cypress Gardens is you see more fast foods, you know, and a lot of them say they have a healthy option. Okay, really, you know, let's say the McDonald's salad. I mean, where's the product coming from? How is it grown? You know, is it grown in China? What are they putting on their soils? You know, you look at the chemicals that you're finding in the kids' toys that are coming from overseas manufacturers, and you know, it's killing us.
And the video Forks Over Knives, very good one for folks to reference. You can pick that up at Whole Foods, I think, or on the internet. Can you just
My-
explain what that's about a
My
little bit?
brother-in-law, who just within the past couple months was diagnosed with cancer for the second or third time, and was given 6 to 24 months. And that was the very first video that we sent him. You need to see this stuff because there is hope out there. You need to look at Gerson. What the organic foods and the juices that can do to heal the body. Whole foods.
And the body will respond to those things because it's what we're made of. Our cells recognize those things. So, and that's where it comes back to the soil being depleted, right. And the reason the soil was meant to grow the plants for our bodies to eat, and the plants would take up all the nutrients, the minerals in the soil, and provide our bodies with that which we need. And so our bodies are starving for all of the minerals that used to come from the soil. So that's another issue that we have with our health issues.
And then internal organs start to malfunction,
That's right.
because the foods that are very common right now are just loaded with antibiotics and hormones and pesticides and you name it, herbicides.
Do you see the organic movement that in the future is expanding?
I think it absolutely has to, for the sake of the health of the world.
It is being implemented.
You have customers that come in and ask you more and more
Look
if
for
it's organic.
There's more knowledge out there. And one thing I wanted to add, because we're talking about the health of the person and the chemicals and how they affect the body, and we have to go back to something that Jeff was talking to me earlier about. Is he was trying to grow his own, and he was having issues with pests and not wanting to use any type of pesticide. And then he had that under control with a natural pesticide. And then his other problem that he was facing was pollination, which you came across.
We were growing these plants in a lanai, so it was screened, and of course the bees weren't getting in there. And it's like, why are my plants dying? And so after doing some more research, found out that if there's no pollination, then the fruit dies and the plant dies.
And so along with that, with the bee actually is facing a crisis right now. So if we don't have bees to pollinate the food, we have no food. And there was a research done recently by a Harvard researcher, and he said that he was studying the effects of high fructose corn syrup, which they feed a lot to bees, and no one is really monitoring the amount of pesticides that is in that. And so just a little bit is affecting the bees and their ability to do that little waggle dance, which tells the other bees where the food source is. And so it's like what they equate it to is the canary in the coal mines. So the bee is an indicator to us, and one that we have to really look at.
Causing nerve damage in the bees, and they're unable to find their way back again. They're dying off.
And you've done a book about the bees that should be coming out in October.
I've written a little book called Bee's Birthday Surprise, but actually what it's going to talk about is what all of this is about is our relationship with one another and our connectedness to the garden, which I call really the planet, because it provides us with what we need to survive. And we have to take care of that to be able to do that. So we have to look at everyone as being connected and having an impact on one another, one way or another. All of life really is sacred.
And other than this restaurant, you know of other restaurants that serve organic, or in the it's hard to
area.
Find in this area.
We know of a cafe in the local health food store on Cypress Gardens Road, and that is called Nature's Delight. And I believe she uses mostly organics in there, or if not all organics, for her cafe. But the Bean and Grape is the only one that we could say truly that we know definitely does have some organic, or as many as he can
Right.
Do
Or the
clean
components of a dish will be made with as many organics as we can find.
That's viable.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. And of course, we have health food stores in the area, Healthy Habits, it's downtown, the Nature's Delight. There's also a Chamberlain's in Lakeland that does carry organic produce.
And then
And it's
before
only
I,
organic.
and before I left the area, there is a buying club in the area where people can pick up every week or every other week organics. And it looks like what they do is they get the best buy on a product and bring it in, and they deliver all the way from Miami to about Gainesville.
And what's the name of that?
It's called Annie's Buying Club.
And it's .com online.
All little letters.
All little letters.
Yes,
And it's
right.
buyingclub.com.
Right.
And you pay a monthly fee and get.
You have to pay a week ahead of time for what you're going to get the following week. And that's a good source. Anybody locally wants to buy organic.
Okay. Did you have anything else you wanted to say? Anything that you want to put forward on the video?
There's a lot that can be said.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you hear about the Bloomberg outlawing 32-ounce sodas and make people healthy. Someone's just going to buy two 16-ounces. You know, that's ridiculous. I mean, if you're going to put your efforts in mandating health, you know, let's get realistic about it. You know, and myself, I'm a card-carrying Republican, I'm conservative, but I believe in, you know, buying locally, growing locally. We would love to be able to eventually move our way into local, seasonal, organic, and fresh. You know, and that's the product that we provide. I would love to eat it. You know, if I could get it.
It tastes better too.
Tastes better too, but you know, government needs to just get out of the way and let us do our thing. Let us grow our foods. You know, I looked at doing aquaponics where you can have fresh fish every day and fresh vegetables every day, and then you look at the state of Florida and you got to have a license for the fish. You got to have a license for the agricultural part of it. You can't just grow any fish. You got to make sure that if they were to get away, if your fish were to run away and get into the water supply, you know.
They're not
Like
carrying
what
something.
what happened
Yes.
with the grass carp,
Yes.
you know, in Texas. You know, it's great for eliminating willows and stuff out of lakes, cleaning up lakes, but you know, they ended up getting 300 pounds, and they were supposed to be unable to breed, and they were able to breed. So, you know, the rules and the regulations are just ridiculous. But you know, it'd be great if we could have a garden out back and grow the food that we sell here. And, you know, other states you can do that. You can have rooftop gardens.
And you looked into getting a community garden.
No,
Or you had thought about it?
I've been thinking about that lately and have actually gone around to look for some land to see if there was a place in the area that would be suitable, and then see what what the community feels about it. If there's enough interest to pursue something like that. But I'd love to be able to have more space at my house to grow vegetables, about equivalent to the size of my yard. But I don't think my neighbors would appreciate it if I pulled up all my grass and put corn.
Well, I like Terry's comment about being personally responsible, and we each have our own responsibility for our own health. And if we're mothers, we have a responsibility for our children, and hopefully then our children will pick that up and move forward with it. So I think we're going places here in Laramie.
You think they're moving and growing?
I do. I see it as the momentum is growing, and with all the knowledge that's out there today, it's gonna get bigger and bigger. And people are just tired of being sick.
And you
They
live
wanna
in
feel
Orlando,
well.
and the movement has grown.
Oh, it's
Quite
tremendous out there. Yes.
a lot of
They
interest in it.
they have community gardens. They teach the children. There's a school right next door to where I live, and they have a garden there that the children are involved in. And there are some schools here locally, I think, that do that.
Okay.
Being tired of feeling sick and tired all the time, and what is the cause of it? And doctors check you out, and there's really nothing they can find, and then suddenly you start moving and
Yeah.
eating fresh and natural and organic, and suddenly your energy level goes up, and you start feeling better, and the weight starts falling off, and then you don't need your medications anymore.
Even a simple 15-minute walk 3 times a week.
Yeah. Oh, for the oxygen. Yes.
Oxygenating the cell keeps the disease away.
And we have to remember to take a breath once in a while.
Yeah.
To your garden and back.
I appreciate you guys in participating in the video, and um, you'll hopefully see yourself on YouTube.
Oh, well. Well, thank you for inviting us.
Yes, we appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome.